this technology. Examine the SEM environment. Plastic. Context. MoFCC has notified the Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules 2021 on August 12, 2021. India has signed a resolution to draw up an agreement under UNEA. India is a party to it that will make it legally binding for signatories to address the full life cycle of plastics, from production to disposal. What is single-use plastic? As the name suggests, it refers to plastic items that are used once and discarded. E.g., plastics used in packaging items, bottles, shampoo, detergents, cosmetics, polythene bags, face masks, coffee cups, cling film, trash bags, food packaging, etc. Status. As per the Mindaru Foundation Report 2021, single-use plastics account for a third of all plastic produced globally, with 98% manufactured from fossil fuels. India features in the top 100 countries of single-use plastic waste generation at rank 94, the top 3 being Singapore, Australia and Oman. India's domestic production of SUP is 8 million metric tons annually, and its import of 2.9 MMT. India's per capita generation is 4 kg. The largest share of single-use plastic is that of packaging, with as much as 95% of single-use belonging to this category, from toothpaste to shaving cream to frozen foods. Why SUP is a cause of concern? Harm environment. Single-use plastic also accounts for the majority of plastic discarded, 130 million metric tons globally in 2019, all of which are burned, buried in landfills or discarded directly into the environment. GHG emission. On the current trajectory of production, it has been projected that single-use plastic could account for 5 to 10% of greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. What are the items being banned? Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB) have announced a ban on earbuds, balloon sticks, candy and ice cream sticks, cutlery items including plates, cups, glasses, forks, spoons, knives, trays, sweet boxes, invitation cards, cigarette packs, PVC banners measuring under 100 microns, and polystyrene for decoration. Polythene bag. The ministry had already banned polythene bags under 75 microns in September 2021, expanding the limit from the earlier 50 microns. From December 2022, the ban will be extended to polythene bags under 120 micron sachets. According to the Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016, there is also a complete ban on sachets using plastic material for storing, packing or selling gutkha, tobacco and pan masala. Why these items? As per the ministry, the choice for the first set of single-use plastic items for the ban was based on DUF, faculty of collection, and their for recycling. How will the ban be enforced? Monitoring by CPCB. The ban will be monitored by the CPCB from the center and by the State Pollution Control Boards (SPCBs) that will report to the center regularly. Stop raw materials supply. For example, to all petrochemical industries, do not supply raw materials to industries engaged in the banned items. Directions to industries. SPCBs and pollution control committees will modify or revoke consent to operate issued under the Air Water Act to industries engaged in single-use plastic items. Fresh licensing required. Local authorities have been directed to issue fresh commercial licenses with the condition that sup items will not be sold on their premises, and existing commercial licenses will be cancelled if they are found to be selling these items. Encouraging compostable plastics, CPCB has issued one-time certificates to 200 manufacturers of compostable plastic and the BIS passed standards for biodegradable plastic. Penalty: those found violating the ban can be penalized under the Environment Protection Act 1986, which allows for imprisonment of up to 5 years, a penalty up to 1 lakh rupees, or both. Violators can also be asked to pay environmental damage compensation by the SPCB. What are the challenges? Previously, almost 25 Indian states previously banned plastic at the state level. However, these bans had a very limited impact in reality because of the widespread use of these items. What should be done? Awareness. The consumer needs to be informed about the ban through advertisements, newspaper or TV commercials, or on social media. Find sustainable alternatives. Companies need to invest in research and development. How are other countries dealing with single use plastic? Consensus on SUP in UN. This year, 124 countries, parties to the United Nations Environment Assembly, including India, signed a resolution to draw up an agreement which will in the future make it legally binding for the signatories to address the full life of plastics from production to disposal, to end plastic 58 or Insights on India. Pollution. 68 countries have plastic bag bans with varying degrees of enforcement. Bangladesh became the first country to ban thin plastic bags in 2002. China. China issued a ban on plastic bags in 2020 with a phased implementation. EU. EU bans certain single-use plastics for which alternatives are available. Conclusion. While the total ban on the use of plastic sounds a great idea, its feasibility seems difficult at this hour, especially in the absence of workable alternatives. Insta-links. Substitute for single-use plastics. Nature and your single-use plastic. Mains link. Q. What is single-use plastic and what are the concerns associated with it? How can it be successfully phased out in the country? 15. Disaster and disaster management. Urban flooding. Context: there was unprecedented flooding in India's tech capital Bengaluru. Urban flooding is an inundation of land in a constructed setting, particularly in densely populated areas. Previous such flooding incidents: Kochi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Chennai. Reasons: natural. Higher rainfall. As per the IMD, monsoon has become frequent and unpredictable. Storm surges for coastal cities, e.g., Cyclone Amphan in 2020 flooded the streets of Kolkata. Within eastern India, the storm killed 98 people and caused $13.8 billion 2020 United States dollars. Groundwater levels. In Chennai, the replenished groundwater table across the city after rains becomes a challenge for several buildings with basements. Anthropogenic encroachment. A large number of wetlands that soaked up the rainwater has encroached. Bangalore had 262 lakes in the 1960s. Now only 10 of them hold water. Rapid and unplanned urbanization. In Bengaluru, stormwater drains were not directly connected to its water bodies. In some places, the runoff water was flowing into constructed deviation canals. CAG found that this increased the chances of flash floods. Destruction of mangroves. Mumbai lost about 40% of its mangroves between 1995 and 2005. Poor civic management of stormwater drainage. CAG report last year pulled up Bengaluru municipality for this poor management. Lack of data. CAG also found that the Bengaluru municipality did not maintain proper records of the stormwater management funds allotted to it under the JNNURM. Lack of coordination. CAG report also noted the lack of coordination between the municipality and the Bangalore Development Authority on drainage related matters. Steps to mitigate urban flooding. Sponge Cities Mission. The idea of a sponge city is to make cities more permeable so as to hold and use the water which falls upon them. Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation Amrut. Stormwater Disposal System. The Brihanmumbai Stormwater Disposal System or BRIMSTOWAD, the project to overhaul Mumbai city's old stormwater drainage system was started after the 2005 deluge. Water Sensitive Urban Design WSUD in Australia regards urban stormwater runoff and wastewater as a resource rather than a nuisance or liability. Bioswales or rain garden. New York are landscape features that collect polluted stormwater runoff, soak it into the ground, and filter out pollution. Conclusion. Therefore, there is a need to include public open spaces within the urban fabric in the form of storm management infrastructure, which could help our cities transform into water sensitive cities. Insta links. Urban floods. Mains link Q. How unplanned development and disregard for natural water bodies cause frequent urban flooding in Indian cities. What can we learn from other countries in an attempt to address urban flooding in India? 15. Prelims link Q. With reference to ocean mean temperature (OMT), which of the following statements are correct? UPSC 2020 or Insights on India. Com 59. Take. OMT is measured up to a depth of 26 degrees Celsius isotherm, which is 129 meters in the southwestern Indian Ocean during January to March. Though OMT collected during January to March can be used in assessing whether the amount of rainfall in monsoon will be less or more than a certain long-term mean. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. Both 1 and 2 only, D. Neither 1 nor 2 answer, B. Q. With reference to Indian Ocean Dipole IOD, sometimes mentioned in the news while forecasting the Indian monsoon, which of the following statements are correct? UPSC 2017 1. The IOD phenomenon is characterized by a difference in sea surface temperature between the tropical western Indian Ocean and the tropical eastern Pacific Ocean. Though an IOD phenomenon can influence an El Niño's impact on the monsoon. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. Both 1 and 2, D. Neither 1 nor 2 answer, B. Transnational flooding. Context. There has been an increase in the magnitude, frequency and intensity of floods in many parts of the world, e.g. Pakistan's recent flood, and flooding in China. Major impediments due to floods, impeding poverty alleviation, meeting Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, obstacles in understanding the magnitude of flooding, lack of transparency in the sharing of hydrological information relating to activities, by one riparian state that is transboundary in its effect, affecting other riparian states. Customary international law. Use of territory. No state has to use its territory in a manner that causes harm to another state while using a shared natural resource. Binding obligation. There is a binding obligation on all states not to release water to cause floods in other co-sharer of the river water. Other procedural norms. Notification of planned measures, the exchange of data and information, public participation. Article 27 of the UNWC Convention. Watercourse states shall, individually and, where appropriate, jointly, take all appropriate measures to prevent or mitigate conditions that may be harmful to other watercourse states. The International Court of Justice (ICJ) in the pulp mills on the river Uruguay, Argentina vs Uruguay, case 2010, it upheld that conducting a transboundary environmental impact assessment (TEIA) of a planned measure or project on the shared watercourse is part of customary international law. The acting state must notify the affected party of the results of TEIA. The Brahmaputra and India's CERNS. Riparian state, China upper side, India, and Bangladesh. Concerns. Recurrent feature. During the monsoon, flooding has been the recurrent feature in the last several decades in Assam. Dam controller. China's excessive water release, as a dam controller, in violation of customary international law, has the potential to exacerbate flooding in Assam in the future. No comprehensive sub-basin. There is no comprehensive sub-basin or all-basin level mechanism to deal with the water management of Brahmaputra. Neither India nor China is a party to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Non-Navigational Uses of International Watercourses (UNWC). 1997 United Nations Economic Commission for Europe (UNECE) on the protection and use of transboundary watercourses and international lakes. 1992 Water Convention. Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) 2013 between India and China. Hydrological information, sharing hydrological information during the flood season, June to September. Urbanization and deforestation. The MOU does not allow India access to urbanization and deforestation activities on the Chinese side of the river basin. India, Nepal and flood prevention. Floods are a recurrent problem in the Koshi and Gandak river basins. The intensity and magnitude of flooding are rising because heavy seasonal precipitation, glacier retreat due to global warming, human-induced stressor, such as land use and land cover changes in the river basin area of Nepal, Terai, and Bihar. Agreements. The India-Nepal Koshi Agreement 1954, Re-60. Insights on India. Devised in 1966, is aimed at reducing devastating flooding in the river basin. A key challenge in developing cross-border flood warning systems, India considers data on transboundary rivers as classified information. Way forward. River basins as single entities. It is important that the two neighbors view the river basins as single entities, which will help in facilitating an integrated approach for improved basin and flood risk management. Floods in Pakistan and the visible effects of climate change. It is important that all riparian states must comply with all procedural duties pursuant to the no harm rule. Water Convention. Countries must also think of becoming a party to either the UNWC or the UNECE Water Convention. Insta links. Urban flooding, the difficult path to India-Pakistan peace. Mains links, Q. The frequency of urban floods due to high-intensity rainfall is increasing over the years. Discussing the reasons for urban floods, highlight the mechanisms for preparedness to reduce the risk during such events. UPSC 2016. Internal security. The cyber threat to mobile banking. Context. Global cybersecurity firm Kaspersky warns of an increase in cyber attacks on Android and iOS devices in the Asia-Pacific (APAC) region. Status of mobile banking in India. 26% of Indian adults have a digital bank account, and that figure is expected to hit 39% by 2023 and 46% by the year 2027.